CMPRadio.net. It's the station. CMPRadio.net, the voice of Chester.
It's go time? Is it go time? Oh, wow. This is how the engineer does me, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Straight to the Point. Now, in true Addie fashion, you know, life be lifing and all that good stuff. So last week, I told you guys that last week was my episode 10, when actually last week was my episode 9, and this week is my episode 10. So let's get into episode 10. So my special guest for this evening is none other than Miss Beautiful Ronette Long, also known to you guys as Corey Long's wife. Now let's welcome Miss Long into the house. So hey. How is everything?
Everything is everything.
Everything is everything. Okay, so can you give the viewers a brief description of Miss Long? Well, Mrs. Long.
A brief description of me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a child of God. But I'm a wife, mother, and I also am an entrepreneur. I don't know, just cool, calm, and collected. It's not much that I really, like, I'm kind of reserved and just kind of stay behind the scenes. Like, I do a lot of things, but kind of behind the scenes stuff, so it's just like nothing I really out here like everybody be out in the forefront. I'm like, no, I'm cool with being in the back. I'm cool.
So something like a momager.
I do manage a lot. Yes.
Interesting. So has there been any obstacles that you've had to overcome, and how did you overcome them?
Ooh, I've had a lot of obstacles I've had to overcome. I will say this. You need a specific example?
No, give us whatever you want to give us.
Okay. So mainly for me, when I deal with anything that's challenging, I do a lot of praying. Journaling, and reading. So I feel like I be seeking God for whatever it is that He has for me, as far as guiding me and what it is that He wants me to do in that moment. And sometimes there's just nothing. Sometimes He just wants me to be still and just kind of rest in Him. And that's hard when you have a family and so much going on. It's just like, how do I do that? But I just keep the faith and find those moments where I can just kind of have my reset and chill out and just let Him move, because He always works it out. So that's how I do it.
And does He not? He does always work it out. Even when we feel like there's no tomorrow, there will be a tomorrow if there's supposed to be.
Yes.
Because it's in His will. So yes, you're absolutely right. I know recently you had changed your diet structure. What prompted that, and what challenges did you encounter when you changed your diet structure? Because I know going from one way of living to another is a whole definite challenge in itself. So just give us a little brief description on that.
Well, I felt like I didn't have a choice. I'm so sensitive. Like, my body, I'm real in tune with everything that goes on, and I'm hypersensitive. So last year, in 2022, I didn't think that I was going to make it. I thought I was going to die. And it was just sudden. It was like right after Thanksgiving 21, I just started like feeling sick. Like, I couldn't breathe. I kept having it, felt like I was having asthma attacks and stuff. I'm like, I never had asthma in my life. I'm like, what the heck is going on with me? So I'm going to the doctor. They can't figure it out. I'm like, they tried to put me on psych meds.
Oh, wow.
And told me to increase my allergy meds and tried the allergy shots. I'm like, no, there's something else going on.
Yeah.
So finally, I had enough. And I paid to go to a naturopath, like a holistic doctor, which is very expensive. But when it comes down to your health, it's like, you
gotta
know,
do what you gotta do.
You gotta listen. I'd rather invest in my health than spend money on things that don't matter. So she was the only one that was able to figure it out. She took a holistic view at my body and ran every test under the sun. When I went to go get my blood work done, she took so much blood, I was sitting there like, am I going to be able to walk out of here?
Oh, wow.
It was just so much. But they figured it out. And I had already started making changes before. But once I knew what it was and how to tackle it, I just realized I had to make a change. So, hence me, I call myself the bubble girl. Because whenever I go out to eat, it's like
limited options.
And then I'm real picky when I go to the store. People aren't mindful of things that they put in your food. Like, I'm an advocate, and I was even like this with the daycare kids. I'm reading labels. I don't buy Pop-Tarts. I don't buy a lot of snacks with food coloring and stuff like that. Like, we cooked our meals. We try not to do too much fast food or anything like that. And I'm even worse. Well, I'll say I'm even better now, where I could look at a label and say, that's junk. I'm not buying that. And we're not mindful of, we think something because they label it organic.
That it's really organic.
That it's really organic or it's healthy. But when you turn that box around or that bag around, you start looking at the ingredients and you be like, oh, no. So my husband, he hate going to the store with me or going to the restaurant sometimes because I ask a bunch of questions. Is that wild caught salmon?
Yeah. Or is that farm raised?
Because
Exactly.
I don't want farm raised. And what do you put in that? What type? Are you using olive oil? Or is that, I don't like those vegetable oil mixes or canola oil or anything like that. So,
because what people don't realize is those type of oils clog up our arteries, which then causes other problems, which then has you in the hospital and you not even know what's going on. But you got a couple clogged arteries, which now have to be repaired worse than what you would do on an engine to a car.
Exactly. And not only that, even when it comes to our kids, a lot of kids, you think they have behavior issues, not realizing that some of the foods that you're feeding your children are contributing to the way that they behave.
Yep.
So, like, for example, my daughter, both of my kids, I believe, are allergic to red 40 dye. So any food, like if you give them a popsicle or something like that, they break out or they act up.
Oh, okay.
And my oldest, Destiny, when she was in Main Street, she was in school or whatever, and the teacher called me and said she was, acting up a little bit or whatever. She's not that type of kid. So I'm like, what did she have to eat? So they had water ice or something like that day.
Red
and I
40.
said, was it red or purple? She was like, yeah, it was. I said, I said, she's sensitive to that. So when you give her stuff like that, it causes her to act up. Or she break out in hives. So she'll get like red, just rash all over her body. But people don't understand that. So you automatically want to label a child as having an issue. But look at the diet that you're feeding your child and you giving it to them for years. Of course, they're going to start acting up. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, I had to, but I've always been tried to be health conscious, but more so now than ever before. And I'm getting older, so you really got to be mindful. This is the age where people really start getting diagnosed with diabetes, high blood pressure,
high cholesterol.
It's just like, no, I don't want that for me. So, and I try to school other people if I can.
So what is it like being married to Mr. Corey Long?
Ooh, I knew that was coming.
So, full disclaimer, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on the show is because oftentimes the wife is always overlooked because the husband is always in the front and kind of the wife is always in the back because that's more likely where they want to be. It's not like they're being put there. So I wanted to bring you on the show to get a different outlook on Miss Ronette versus Mrs. Long.
Yeah.
So I wanted to break that down.
Ooh. So first I'll say, when you're married to somebody that, especially in this area, Chester is small. Everybody knows Corey. And so he's kind of like a public figure in the area. It has its challenges. For example, his phone is always ringing all the time. Sometimes I just look at him like,
I'm gonna need you to put that on do not disturb.
It's Sunday morning. We're getting ready for church. Whoever that is gonna have to wait, or you deal with that after church. Sometimes it's just like, but sometimes I understand because I know that the day goes by so fast, and he has so many things that he has to deal with. He not only has making a change group, but he does things outside of making a change group. He's involved in people's political campaigns, and whenever somebody need anything, he does his best to try to help everybody. It's just like, you're only one person, but he will try to get it done. So, and I'm not the type of wife that I try to be like, well, this our time, and I don't want you. Nah, they gonna have to wait, or this, that, and the other. I'm very supportive in supporting our people. So if they need to call him and I know that he has the connections to make things happen, then I'm all in support of that.
That's wonderful. So how do you balance work and family?
Do I? Do I?
Is there a possibility of that? Because life be lifing.
Life be lifing hard.
Yes.
And I really be sitting and analyzing and trying to figure out, how do I get to the soft life? Because nothing soft about this life now.
I'm trying to tell you.
But it's challenging when you have, I think as kids get older, things do start to kind of mellow out. But when you have little people that you running around and then cleaning up after, or fussing at them to make them clean up after themselves while trying to work full time. Like, for example, my daughter is on spring break right now. No. She should. Why didn't need spring break?
They should have had school.
I should have signed her up for camp. I sent it to her dad, but he was just like, well, ask your mom, can she keep her? My mom don't feel like, listen, she had her, one day she went over there. It was a nice little break, but I understand my mom, she do a lot too. So she ain't trying to be dealing with crazy muffin every single day. And so I'm the house where my niece, I have 2 other nieces that are about the same age as Muffin. Matter of fact, they're the same age. And they want to come over. And I work from home.
So it's going to be 3 of them.
No, they was there.
Oh, no.
And I got to the point, so kids, it's nice outside. They in and out the house. They just doing too much. I'm like, everybody got to go. Get your stuff. Muffin, you going to get your hair done. You going home. Your mom home, call your mom. Somebody home at your house? All right, everybody got to go. I pulled up back home. Corey was like, where the kids? Gone. I had enough. It's just like, I'm trying to work, but I'm also trying to, let them be and let them have their fun. kids these days, they don't know how to leave you alone. I'm
No.
like, no. Mm-mm. But work-life balance, I say when you can take some time for yourself, do it. Do it. Do it every chance you get because you need it. Like, you will burn out.
Yes. Quick.
You will burn all the way out. And then you won't be no good to nobody.
Quick.
So I try to be mindful of that. I try to, like, if it's some weekends, they'll be like, we going out. I'm like, I'm not going. I'm not going. I am going to stay in the house. I got things to do here, and I want to relax.
Y'all can go, I'll be here.
Yeah, sometimes Sunday dinner ain't happening. Like, it's Sunday. No, I don't feel like it. What we eating?
I don't know.
Either you cooking or we going to order something because I need a break.
Exactly.
So, but it's always going to be an imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's either you giving more to one or the other.
Yes.
But you just, you try to find those moments of peace and calm.
And sometimes it's not going to be balanced.
It's not. It's not.
You can be like, I just got off of work. Listen, I'm done. I'm going upstairs and lay down. What you mean you going upstairs and lay down? The kitchen got to be clean. Okay, you got 2 hands.
We just had this conversation the other day. We was talking about Corey had to run out and there was dishes in the sink. And he was like, can you finish up for me? Mm-hmm. He came back in the house. He said, I thought you was going to do the dishes. Forget them dishes. Them dishes will be there when I get to them. Like, I don't feel like it right now.
Oh, because did you think I was going to do it right now?
No,
I'm not doing it right now.
I know. So, and you got to be okay with just letting stuff be sometimes.
Yes.
Like, stuff will be there.
Yes.
When you get to it. So you ain't got to tackle it right then and there. And I've learned that because I used to work from sun up to sundown, going to bed, dead tired, getting up, hitting it again. I'm just like, I ain't doing it no more. I'm going to bed.
It's going to be what it's going to be.
It's going to be what it's going to be.
So what kind of parenting style would you say you have? Because I know it's a huge gap when it comes to the children. So what kind of parenting style would you say you have? And is there a difference between the children?
You might have to ask my kids. Because let Destiny tell it, I'm easy. I'm not the same mom that I was for her that I am with Muffin. And I'm like, y'all 2 different type of kids, though.
Exactly.
Because, Destiny was easy, though. I don't even know why she say I was kind of hard, but I was younger. And I had more energy.
And that's the firstball, so you got to be a little hard.
Yeah, but she's a sweetheart. I think I did a good job. Muffin, sometimes I feel like I'm failing. I just look, I'm like, this little girl, it's like, and I say this with all love. You know how they say gentle parenting?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like our kids, you can't gentle parent.
No.
It's like, I try it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say I don't try it. I try to gentle parent. I try to do the talking and, being a calm mom. And then it's just like,
no.
Get in here and clean this up right. Like, it all go out the window.
Muffin,
Everything
it's
just
no
go out the
Muffin. I'm gonna need you to pick your toys up. It's none of that.
No, it don't work.
Because they still be sitting there like, what? What you saying?
It don't work.
It's like going one ear and out the other.
Her dad be like, you need to get her. You need to get her. I'm like, oh,
Exactly.
I don't want to get her. But then when I get her, it's just like, babe, you didn't have to be so hard.
All right, well, next time you get her.
What you want me to do? It's no middle ground. It's like either you turn up or you turn down. It's no middle ground. You can't. So I got to turn up with her. Everybody else grown. Little Corey, he, you just got to repeat yourself a few times. Like, I don't have to turn up with him. It's just more so, didn't I tell you, like, it don't be connecting. It's just like it's going in one ear and out the other. Or he'll go to do something and then 10 minutes later he'll come back. What did you say, dude? Like,
and then you think to yourself, like, what did I tell you to do?
Girl, I'm like, did I not explain it right? I was clear, wasn't I? So, but yeah, the little one though, she, girl, oh my goodness. So, but I tried to not be the parent. Like, I want to encourage her to make her own decisions and really think about what she does. Mm-hmm. And I tried to explain to her why I would hate to get in trouble. I hate to get in trouble and not knowing why I got in trouble. Like, when I was younger, you just get in trouble. I'm like, I ain't even do nothing. Now I want you to know exactly why you got in trouble so that you don't do it again. Even though I know she's going to do it again, I still want her to understand, like, I want you to think.
Yeah.
I really want you to think. I want you to make the right decision, but I want you to think about stuff before you do it. And I know it's hard. Like, at 8 years old, kids are just impulsive.
So with all of that in mind, how important is self-care to you?
Self-care is extremely important. That's why I try to take as many vacations as I do. I'm like, I come back from vacation, I'm like, I need another one because I'm tired already. But no, I try to be mindful of, when it's time to chill out and just have your time, do that. And even like if it's just an escape, like I'm going to another salon, I don't want to be bothered. Like because sometimes before I used to take my friends to another salon, I'm like, no, I ain't going by myself. I'm not taking you. I'm going by myself. Sometimes I might just go to the store and sit in the car for a little bit and just chill and enjoy the peace and not be doing nothing. And now I understand why. If I send Corey to the market, it take him like 3 hours, and I already know what he doing. He's parking at every store on his phone, like just sitting there chilling. Anytime I could call him, where you at? In Dollar Tree parking lot. Like it's just, but I get it. Like I'll come home, I pull in the driveway, I just sit there. Like I don't even get out the car.
I do the same thing.
That's my self-care moment.
I find myself in the car for hours, and it's weird, but that's what I do. Mm-hmm. And I find joy in it. I don't know what it is. I don't be wanting to go in the house.
I love it. Like I don't know what it is about pulling up and just sitting in the car, and then sometimes. Like, if I see Corey sitting in the car, I get it. Like, just stay out there and just chill out. Because as soon as he come in the door, Daddy, Muffin. And don't let it be other kids there. They all come running.
Oh, wow.
Uncle Corey, Daddy. I'm like, Like, they wasn't just getting on my nerves. But, man, listen. I don't care. Whatever self-care is to you.
You got to do it.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
Mm-hmm. So how hard in the beginning was it or did you find it hard in the beginning to blend the families together?
No, I didn't feel like it was hard to blend the families together. I felt like they kind of just, it was very organic. It was just like an easy transition. Especially for the kids. Like, they just kind of clicked. Like, Destiny, Corey was real little, and Destiny was a teenager. But, I got so many little videos and pictures of them in my phone from when we first got together. It's so funny. But it just, I don't know. Like, I didn't feel like it was that challenging. For me, now, parenting-wise, that was a little challenging because I was a strict parent. And I felt like at the time, Corey was more of a laid-back parent. So I'm always picking up on stuff that kids do that, dads don't really pay attention to. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm about to check your child. Like, why you not saying nothing? Why is he doing all this stuff? So that can be iffy when you first get with somebody and you doing the discipline thing. Mm-hmm. But other than that, you just kind of let people kind of grow in their moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't try to force it.
So recently you got a new fur baby. So what was the impact of losing your first fur baby after all of those years?
That was hard. Because I had Max since he was a puppy. So he would have been 17 March 21st. I ain't even post nothing. I thought about it and I was just like, But he was a sweetheart. Like, he was just the sweetest dog. Like, some people be scared of him, but he was just...
Because he was big.
Because he was big. But he grew up with all the kids. Destiny was only like 5 or 6 when I got him. She was like about 6. And the daycare kids, like, he never did anything aggressive towards anybody's child. Some people be scared, but the kids was never scared of him. So I miss my Maxie boy. Max was just a precious fur baby, my man. And he was with me through a lot. Through a lot. Max was there. You know, I was married before. He was there through my divorce. Like, that was my dog, you know. So he was
channeling all that energy.
He kept things positive. I won't say anything negative, but he kept things positive. So, but he was always right by my side. And then when Corey came, he just went right up under Corey like, hey, Dad. Like, it was just like, okay, well, you know, the dog like you. I guess that says something about you. But yeah, now this new fur baby,
he look a little wild and frisky.
He's a wild boy. Well, no, he's starting to calm down because when I first, you know, he was a little baby, so he was testing the waters. The first day he was so quiet and calm and just, you know, lovable. The next day he jumped at me like oh, little boy. But yeah, he's so sweet. He's just lovable. He loves kids. Which sometimes little dogs don't like kids. Yeah. Which is weird, but he loves kids. So I'm like, you know, we doing our thing with our little fur baby. He's so attached to me.
So how do you feel about not having a daycare anymore? Was that a tough pill to swallow when you was like, okay, so I think it's time to give it up?
At first it was because I didn't want to. But then I got to a point where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I feel like...
Was it COVID?
It ended during COVID, but that wasn't the reason. I planned on ending my daycare career in June before COVID even hit. COVID just ended it a little earlier. But I felt as though I was very passionate about it at first. Yeah. And I loved the babies. But once it got to a point where I didn't feel passionate about it anymore, I was just like, I don't feel as though this is something that I should be doing anymore. Especially with where I was in my life. Yeah. And not only that, I didn't like working with our parents.
Yes.
And I feel like you need to be a special type of person
to deal with all those different behaviors.
Those behaviors. And I was not that person. I don't do drama. And I'm the type of person, if I see something that's wrong,
I'm going to speak on it.
I want to speak on it. Not only that, I just saw too much. Yeah. And I'm just like, I felt like, this is just not for me anymore. But I love kids, and I love to see kids well educated. I struggled with kids not getting what they needed. Trying to fight for kids that weren't being fought for on the other end.
Oh, wow.
So that was hard for me. And one of the things that I really enjoyed was working with the after-school kids. You know, helping them with their homework and, you know, just doing fun activities with them and things like that. But when I would see kids that weren't advancing, having learning disabilities and challenges.
And not being addressed.
Or just being failed. I'm just like, I can't. So I'm just like, we need to find a better way. Yeah. And I feel as though, so now I'm transitioning into volunteering with Making a Change group. Because I used to be really involved, but it's just like, I want to fall back a little bit and, you know, just volunteer. Like, I don't want to be that much in the trenches. Yeah. Like that anymore. Especially when you're married to the person that.
Because like you're married to making the change too.
I am. I am. So it's just like, I'll be the wife of making the change for you. I don't want to be an employee, or I don't want to be that involved. Like, just like with the daycare, I'm just like, I don't want to.
So the volunteer part is kind of fulfilling the itch of the daycare type, you know, the daycare. I want to be intertwined with the kids and different things like that, I would say.
Yeah, it does. It allows me to still be involved and still, you know, see like I enjoy interacting and seeing the families, and also seeing the kids be involved in programs that are beneficial to their growth. And I do find it, I think it's very important for kids to be involved in stuff outside of school.
Yes.
So, you know, because I feel like when kids have idle time, that's when they start to get into stuff that they really shouldn't. Or
like right now, spring break.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a prime example of that. Last night I was riding through Memorial Park. Everybody knows Memorial Park has lights, but it's very dark. A lot of things can take place over there. A lot of things probably do take place that people are unaware of. So there was a gang of kids. These kids were literally waiting for a car to get close to them, and they were laying themselves in the street.
You know what? No.
Laying themselves in the street. And I'm not going to say that, you know, their parents aren't involved, because you can have the best parents. You can have a 2-parent home and still be out there influenced by the other influence of the outside. But I will say that people need to be mindful of when they let their kids outside to go play and where they are and who they're with, because that's those influences that you don't want them to be involved with. You want them to be in like an after school program or some type of program, because, you know, prime example, this whole entire week, all the programs have basically shut down because it's spring break. And they're thinking that everybody has the capabilities of being home with their parents and maybe going on a mini vacation or whatever, and some just don't. So I often wonder, what do we do with those children that don't have anywhere to go? And spring break is just another way of them getting in trouble.
Yeah, that is so true. And it's challenging. Like, I've seen where kids have a 2-parent household or a household where I know their parent is involved and not that type of parent that encourages or even portrays behaviors that are just kind of negative, you know, but those kids still get involved in stuff that they're not supposed to.
Yes.
So that's why I say it's important to have them involved in programs. And then not only that, kids tend to open up with people that aren't necessarily their parent. So they have a safe space where they have another adult that can encourage them, but also listen to them and hear them out. Like, even my daughter at her school, which is something that I feel like is lacking in our community, they have like a child psychologist. And they're very big on social emotional learning. So if there is any challenges that she's having, like, she'll go and talk to the child psychologist. They have like regular meetings where they go and talk, because my daughter is very sensitive. So she has someone that she can go and share things that she might not share with me and her dad, even though she tells us a lot. But sometimes, because she has this outside relationship with another adult, that
it's easier for her to talk to that person. It's easier for her
to talk to that person because they have like a different type of relationship. And I just feel like more kids, especially in this area that are suffering from PTSD, need that. Kids are acting out because they're traumatized and they don't have anybody to talk to. Or they try to talk. It's like, oh, shut up, God, I don't want to hear that.
I got to watch my show. Go sit down. Like,
so what do? You know?
I think that's where the community steps in at. And, you know, more people that are equipped to give that type of emotional support to the children need to step forward. Now, it's going to be oftentimes where you will get burnt out in that type of situation as well, because, you know, you then have to go home and give that same emotional support to your own children. But the little bit that can be provided needs to be provided, because there's a lot of kids that are suffering in our own community. And there are resources, but it's just not enough resources for every child, which then makes the community weak to an extent, because now you're trying to figure out, how do I help this child? But they say we have all the resources, but we only have limited resources for a limited amount of children. So in your opinion, how do you feel that making a change could aid in that aspect of the emotional support part?
Well, one of the things that Making a Change group does, we have this program called Connected Families. And it's a family-based program where you have the parents come in, they have sessions for the parents, and they also have sessions for the kids. And they
so
talk
it's a
about,
family event.
It's a family program. It happens on a weekly basis. And they actually separate the kids by age. So you have like the elementary group, then you have like the teens, and they talk about different topics. And they work on building a relationship with those kids so that they can, open up and talk about different things that they might be having challenges with, or whatever is the topic is based on, just opening up about things surrounding that topic. And I think it's so beneficial to have programs like that, because sometimes you might have a program for the kids, but the parents aren't involved.
Yeah.
So we try to bring the whole family in, and they provide childcare. So the little tiny people, the little infants and toddlers, they have somewhere for them to be while the parents and the elementary school age kids are in programs. Not only that, it's a challenge though. So we know that there are people in the community that could benefit from the program, but getting them to come
It's a whole different story.
is a whole different story.
So are we grabbing people from schools, community centers? Like how are we getting the people in? And is this like an after school program, or is this something that's inside the schools?
So it's a weekly program. It's after school, of course. And they're getting people from different, wherever they're at. So like if they're at a community fair or summit or
so we're basically trying to reach all avenues of the population to bring more people into the program to try to support kind of like everybody that we can.
Yes. And it's not so much like, we don't want people to look at Making a Change group as, oh, I need something, let me call them. No, we really want you to benefit from the program and really be involved and participate. So one of the challenges with our community is everybody want a handout. It's just like, oh,
Are you giving out something free? I'm coming.
Yeah, I need. And it's like, let's get to the root of what you need so that you don't need, if that makes
All
any
the time.
sense, So let's get you to the point where you could be self-sustaining, so you're not always looking for a handout. So, trying to be a resource center as well, so that people can, like, for example, if you want to buy a house, there's programs for that. We want to be a resource to help people get involved in those type of programs and not feel like you have to just, I'm never going to get anywhere. I'm just, as soon as I make a few extra dollars, they want more money, which is a system. It's set up that way so that, okay, if your rent is based off your income,
you got to maintain that income.
Yeah, so you got to find a way to get out of the rabbit hole. You got to find a way to get out of it, but you have to get involved in these programs that are going to help you do that. Because sometimes it's challenging to do things on your own, and that's one of the things that we struggle with. We try to do stuff on our own until we can. And it's just like, no, use your resources so that you can grow and reach your goals. Find the people that are going to help you reach your goals.
So what other programs fall under the Making a Change umbrella?
Now, listen, that's above my pay grade. I will say they do have a gun violence prevention program that they do weekly too. And basically what they're trying to do is get the young people to find other avenues of dealing with things. Okay. Like, you don't have to pick up a gun to handle a situation. So they're trying to prevent it, not trying to go after the fact, but prevent them from even getting involved in gun violence in the first place. That's kind of the big thing that they're doing right now. But hopefully they're able to make an impact, because the shooters are getting younger and younger. Yes. And it's sad. And I don't watch the news because I can't take the negativity. Like, I gotta guard my peace.
I watch it in the morning. I don't watch it at night.
So I don't do the news. I get my news from Corey. Tell me what you think I need to know. But other than that, I can't do all the negativity.
Because it definitely builds up your anxiety.
Yeah, no. After the pandemic, I was done with the news. I said, God, no, I am finished. So I was watching the news where the teacher got shot by the 6-year-old. And I'm just like, so of course they're not charging the 6-year-old.
I was just about to say that.
But where you get the gun from? Like, who? Somebody got to take accountability. The parents, somebody
has to be held accountable.
That woman almost died.
Yes,
she's a baby.
And may not even want to teach again.
She's my child's age. Like, I couldn't imagine my child going into a school trying to be a teacher and getting shot by a 6-year-old.
Yeah, because I have a 6-year-old niece. I have a 6-year-old nephew. And just to even imagine them carrying a gun in a book bag, and they like to even say, "Oh, well, let me put this in my book bag. I'm gonna take it to school, and the teacher pissed me off today, so I'm gonna just shoot her." Like, imagine getting that call and you the parent. You have to come up here and pick up little Johnny because he done shot the teacher. He's in police custody.
I couldn't even imagine. So it's just like, we really gotta take a hold of this situation.
We do.
And we really got to get a hold of our babies.
Like, I really feel like it absolutely starts at home. And it starts at home because, you know, for the most part, we as parents, we kind of have an inkling of what our kids are doing. Sometimes we take a blind eye because we might be benefiting from it. But at the same time, sometimes, in most cases, people get so upset when something happens to the child that they know was already in the streets doing something. Oh, my child was this and my child was that, when you know for a fact that they were out there doing something, toting a gun, maybe selling drugs, different things to that extent. But somebody has to be held accountable for that 6-year-old. Yeah, somebody. And I still don't think that anyone has been charged.
No. They haven't even mentioned anything about charging an adult. But, you know, just thinking about that, it's just like, no, we can't have that. We can't. And then the whole gun threat.
Yes.
Right after. It's just like, come
several,
on.
to be exact. It was several.
Yeah. So I'm just like, no. And it's sad because a child's life is being altered just because of a decision that they made. And it's just like, you really got to drill into your kids that the decisions that you make can alter your life
for the rest of your life. Yes.
So you really need to think before you do certain things. And as a parent, we have to do our job, but we also can't beat ourselves up. When these kids go out here and do what they want to do after you've done all that you can to keep them on the right path.
Absolutely. The most you can do for them is try to support them in their time of need, but also let them know that this is that moment that I told you I wouldn't be able to help you because you didn't listen. Because I gave you all the necessary tools and you did not take those tools. But that also goes back to the outside influence because, you know, you can send your child to the best schools. And believe it or not, those bad influences are in those best schools. Because every parent wants to think that their child is good and every child is not.
No, absolutely.
Every child is not.
And not only that, I feel as though, like, I'm not a parent basher. So if your child does something that they weren't supposed to do and it get broadcasted everywhere, I'm not the one to say, well, you need, like, I'm not no parent basher, because I know that kids will be kids. And kids will do things that you couldn't even fathom that they would do.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Now, sometimes some of y'all know that your kids is just off the hook, and you know what they capable of. Sometimes you get surprised.
Why the teacher calling you. You know why the teacher calling you.
Yes.
Because you was just having trouble with little Johnny before he went to school, and you thought the teacher wasn't gonna call you. Or you know that your child may have need emotional support, and you're in denial and don't want to get that child no assistance.
That's a big one, and that has happened. I've seen that happen a number of times because people don't want their kids to be labeled. It's not about a label. It's about getting your child what they need.
Yes.
Or else you're going to be dealing with a bigger headache down the road.
Yes.
So the sooner, the better.
Yes.
But yeah, it's not about a label. We have to get over these stigmas that come with your child being labeled. And I understand sometimes you got to delve a little deeper before you just allow somebody to medicate your child. I'm not saying that. But as far as them getting therapy or diagnosed, and, you know, sometimes kids act out because they might be struggling in school. So that's their scapegoat. And it's just like, no, find out what the problem is. They might have a learning disability. They might need a little more time on their test, or they might need some side time to do math with a specialist or something like that. Look into it. Dig deep. Find out. Like, really, don't just brush it off and just say, he bad, him listen. Find out why.
Exactly.
Find out why.
And let's be clear here. There are some children that absolutely need medication.
I'm not
because
listening.
you have some kids that are up that need to be brought down. You have some that's down that need to be brought up. But you again, like you just said, you have to get to the root of the problem.
Yep.
And then sit down with the doctor. And if you need to get a second opinion, if you can afford it, because some people, you know, it may be a situation where, so I can't afford this copay 2 times. So you got to tell me what's up right now. Because I know for myself, I went to the foot doctor. I'm thinking my toe falling off. I'm like, I'm going to the Rothman Institute, girl. I'm thinking something. She's like, oh, no, your feet are fine. I'm saying to myself, they can't be. Then I get the bill in the mail for $100 copay. And I'm like, okay, so do I just deal with what I'm dealing with, or do I go spend this $100 again? Because, you know, people so quick to say, get a second opinion. Sometimes you can't afford the second opinion. Who want to just be giving up hundreds of dollars every time you turn around? Yes. I'm going to give you 100, you get 100, you get 100. So, you know, it could be that situation too, you know, because everybody is not able to be on Medicaid.
That's true.
Will we all love it? Yeah, to an extent, till you got to report your income to the government. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, some people can't afford that double copay. So I think we also have to find avenues around that too. Yeah, and I'm not going to say have a few pop-up clinics here and there, because some of them aren't good either. No. You don't have the best workers there because they know everybody's coming there and they getting their stuff for free. But for the most part, we got to figure this thing out. Yeah. Because the kids are our future.
Yep. And I say, you know, people say you try to focus on people changing and you put hope in these politicians and things. But guess what?
They human just like us.
They human like us. But if you have the capacity to change anybody and influence anybody, it's going to be these young people. Those are the ones you need to focus on.
Absolutely.
So don't push the kids to the side. You know, you really got,
because they the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. So what are some marital tips that you can give the viewers? Some of your do's and don'ts, some of the I just can't deal with that today. So just give us a few of your, you know, go-to tips. So while being married.
One of the things that I've learned over the years, like I said, this is my second go round. Don't expect them to know what you want. You know, I've heard people say, they should know. He should know that I want. Listen, you better tell him or her what you want, you know. And your expectations lead to disappointment sometimes. So manage your expectations and don't try to change people. If it's something, now I'm going spiritual right now. If there is something that needs to be changed in a person, let God do that. Don't you try to be the mom or the dad and try to change that person by, you know, either threatening them or being manipulative or anything like that. You know, pray for them. Pray for them. It's so many times, now I'm telling my business, but it's been times where me and my husband have a disagreement or whatever, and I'll be wanting to just go there, like really just go there. And I'm just like, you know what, no, I'm just take it to God, I'm gonna pray about it. And then next thing I know, I hear him listening to a sermon or he listening to his gospel music. I'm like, yes, Lord, yes, work it out. So I already know it's coming. And then, you know, maybe either later on the next day we'll kind of talk and smooth things out. But sometimes you just gotta shut up. Just shut up. Like sometimes we talk too much, whether it be male or female. We talk too much. And it's just like,
well, I think the males talk more than the females.
I do too. I definitely think that.
And sometimes the switch doesn't go off in their head to tell them, no, don't say that. Just be quiet, like we do.
Yeah.
Because we know when to stop.
Yeah.
Whereas though they're like, oh, because you know what? And we'll be like, oh, no, maybe I shouldn't say that.
I have my moments. I'll have my moments where I say, you know what? No, I ain't going to say. I'm going to say what I feel. And then sometimes I'll just be like, girl, go ahead. Just go. I'll be like, I ain't doing this. Good night. I'm going upstairs. I'm going to bed. Good night. But it'd be funny. So, and then sometimes, you know, you gotta laugh. Mm-hmm. Like you really gotta be friends with your spouse
first.
You gotta be friends. Like y'all almost gotta be like me and Corey could be really homies at times where we get what's going on at the moment. Like we'll be geeking and everybody else be like, don't know what's going on, but we know what's going on. So, you know, you gotta have fun together. But also, I'll say this. When it comes down to being married, you got to realize that you're on the same team. And sometimes we have to
And we're not talking about the color of the clothes, right? Mm-hmm. We talking about the other team.
Talking about the other team. But you got to realize that you're on the same team. So we're fighting for the same thing. Mm-hmm. And it's just like me and Corey are total opposites. Like Corey's very outgoing. He's bubbly and, you know, I'm not. I'm more, you don't know what's on my mind. I come across as, I've heard people say, oh, I thought you was stuck up. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Me? No, if anything, I'm shy and don't really know what the hell to say. So I'm just sit here and be quiet. But other than that, no, I'm not stuck up. But, you know, I'm very reserved. I'm just like, you know, chill. And he's just the person. So when we're together, it's just like, you do your thing. I'm going to chill, you know. We balance each other out. But I'm also the voice of reason. Because he's the turn-up king. So as bubbly as he is, he could flip the script and go the other way. And I'm just like,
not right now.
Don't say nothing.
Right now is not the time.
No, don't respond. Don't say nothing. Because, you know, when you in Chester, you know, sometimes you deal with attacks. And it's just like, you know, you got to know how to govern yourself. Mm-hmm. And the higher you elevate, the more the attacks are going to come. The heavier the attacks, the more the accusations are going to be. And it's just like, you got to know how to handle it. You got to have some thick skin. And even me, like, you know, I've dealt with it. And it's just like, what I do, like, you know, so I just be like, you know what, whatever. I just brush it off because I don't particularly care, but at the same time, like, why respond? Why entertain it? So I always have to talk him off the ledge. It's just like, no, come on, don't do it, don't, you know. And then sometimes I'll be like, go ahead, handle that, get that, because I'm tired. He'd be like, you saying that? I'm like, I'm sick of them, but I gotta govern myself sometimes because that's not okay.
You gotta rule yourself back.
Yeah, I gotta rule myself. I'm like, come on, girl, calm down. But yeah, so, you know, that's my best friend, that's my homie, you know. But yeah, and you make sure you have your time together because life can get in the way, especially when you're working, they're working, he's busy, I'm busy, and it's just like, you gotta listen, we need some time. Like last night I was like, we going out, and we went to dinner and we just, you know, hung out. No kids. Goodbye. Think about them kids. But yeah, you know, keep people out your business.
That's the biggest one. The business part.
Like if somebody try to come with me some nonsense, no, I don't want to hear that. Especially, no, y'all being messy. I don't want to hear it. Because you and so probably was kiki and
conversating and all that.
No, I'm cool.
All right, so what's next for Ronette? Or where do you see yourself? Let's just say the next 5 years.
The next 5 years, I don't know if I should say. I can't elaborate too much, but I definitely, like right now I work a job. And I see myself out of.
Do you love the job? Because you like, I work a job.
I do. I really enjoy what I do. But I don't want to be on the clock like that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to be a full-time entrepreneur.
Okay.
So it's in real estate.
Okay.
We've already been kind of doing some things, but I'm looking to do that full time in the next 5 years.
Awesome.
So God willing.
God willing, always.
God willing.
So I would like to thank you for being on Straight to the Point. I'm pretty sure you probably was like, what is she going to ask me? Because I know I saw that your husband had put up, oh my gosh, she going to spill all the family secrets. I don't know what Adelaide going to ask her, but y'all still tuned in. So, here on Straight to the Point, I know the title sometimes, takes people for a loop. They probably like, oh, she going to grill me. Like, what's she going to say? But for the most part, I just, want people to get acclimated to the people that are in their community, that they more so wouldn't get a different look, that they more so wouldn't understand or have that certain look when it comes to those certain people. Because the average person wouldn't even probably think that you're a child of God. The average person wouldn't even probably think that, oh, you play the back seat to the front seat of the husband, when at the end of the day, it's just more so I'm just staying in my lane. So I want to thank you for coming on Straight to the Point. And yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Absolutely. I when I reached out to you initially, I was like, Ronette ain't going to come on here. And then we was talking, and you was like, well, what we going to be talking about? What you want to say? And blah, blah, blah. And then I was breaking it down to you. It's like, okay, sure. You want me to come on there?
Yeah, because I'm like, what you want? I'm boring. Like, I'm just a homebody. I work and stuff, and, I like to be involved and, do stuff in the community. But for the most part, I'm just like,
I'm not that interesting.
And yeah, like,
Listen, you be surprised. You be surprised. All right, so let's get into this rant.
This is what I want to hear.
Oh, I don't even know if I want to hear it tonight. So, I'm not sure if anyone is aware. I'm sure that some people are aware, but I'm gonna just give y'all a little tidbit on it. So on Mondays at 6 p.m. at the Cat Center, I host a community conversation. Now, community conversation is open to anybody, and, we basically come together, we talk about different topics, but it's more so solution-based because, for the most part, all I see on social media happening is a bunch of complaining. So this past Monday, we had a different type of community conversation. We had what you would consider a listening session, which was definitely a breath of fresh air. So there were 45 people that registered, and there were like 25 people that showed up. Still a good turnout because of the fact that, not always when people register, do they come out anyway. So I understand it for the most part why sometimes people charge a fee. So they're thinking that you're more prone to come if you paid your money, when that's not even the case. Because if you're not filling up to it, you're not going to come. But I want to also give a huge shout out to Ms. Tasleen Morales for, as she would say, hijacking community conversations to come in and give a different aspect to the new juvenile justice center that's coming at some point. Now I got a call today, and the person called me and I didn't answer the phone, and I was like, not like more so why they called me, but I was more so interested in why they were calling me. So they were like, it's yellow trucks riding around snatching up all the roots for marathons. I said, what? So he's like, yeah, it's city workers. They riding around snatching up all the roots for marathons. So at this time that this person called me was during work hours. So my question for you guys is, do y'all appreciate that our tax dollars are paying for someone to ride around and snatch up roots for marathons versus all of the unnecessary trash that's flooding Chester? I know, I went there. So, for the most part for me, I'm very taken back, and I am going to question this when it comes to the next city council meeting, which is next Wednesday, because, my tax dollars are important to me, just like they should be important to you. My wage taxes are important to me like they should be important to you. We pay the highest in the state of Pennsylvania, Chester. Yes, we pay the highest. Now, let's get into these candidates that's running for mayor, city council, and judge. I have been getting a lot of traction when it comes to palm cards being put in my mail slot, palm cards being put in my door. And for those of you that don't know, palm cards should not be in your mailbox unless they have been delivered by the postal worker. That is illegal, and that person who dropped it in your box can be fined. Now, I know they saw the sign in my yard, and I guess they just overlooked it and just still put it in my box. Now, I did, in true Addie fashion, I ran my cameras back to see if they put it in there or if the mail person delivered it. Nope, they put it in there. So I say all that to say, when we're enlisting people to do things for us on a volunteer basis, we need to educate them. One of the biggest things that's lacking in our community is education. You know, we're not educated on a lot of things. Sometimes we don't want to know, but we need to know. My next point is the destruction of the road on 9th Street. Now, I have been on Facebook all week, and there has been a lot of complaining about the road being tore up on 9th Street. Now, in my opinion, it's a beautiful thing because we want our streets to be as clean and nice just like everybody else's roads. We want our roads to be whereas though when you're riding down the street, your engine is not about to fall out. I think these people have complained so much and contacted PennDOT so much that they forgot to come back and pave the roads. It's no way that the roads have been tore up for almost 4 days now, and they have not came back and paved the roads. So I'm asking for whoever's calling, whoever's complaining, let the workers do their job. I say that again. Let the workers do their job because we need clean roads, and we need our roads to be just as nice as our counter areas of Delaware County. We cannot always continue to keep complaining about everything because we will be looked upon as the people that only complain, so we will never get anything good. We cannot always keep putting all of our anger on the elected officials because sometimes we as a community, we need to step up as well. Now, when I say step up, I don't mean contact PennDOT every 5 minutes asking them why they're tearing the road up at 11 o'clock at night. Because at the end of the day, they're only there to do a job. And I understand that it may have been inconveniencing to some folks, but sometimes you have to deal with the little things to get to the other side of the road. And in this situation, I hope they come back and repave our road because they have tore up the entire 9th Street. I also want to let you guys know that this upcoming election is very important. I need you to do your research on all the candidates. There are going to be a lot of forums taking place. There's going to be a virtual forum with the League of Women Voters. There's also going to be 2 in-person forums, also with the League of Women Voters at the CAT Center. Those dates will be published as soon as the information is available. I need you guys to also submit your questions. You know, stop sitting around saying, I don't know this person. I don't know what they're going to do. Ask your questions. They might just get answered. Then you can get a better outlook on the person who's running to be your elected official. Also, if you're not voted, if you're not registered to vote, you need to get registered to vote. The time frame is dwindling down. I think the deadline may be something like May the 1st. So you can do it online, you can do it by paper, but make sure you fill out all the accurate information on those forms so that you can be registered to vote. If you are registered to vote, check your status because if you haven't voted in some years, that means you're inactive, which means you cannot vote. And with all of that being said, I would like to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Straight to the Point. This is actually episode 10. And I'll see you guys next week. So my guest for next week is none other than Mr. Quan Knox himself. So I will be sitting down with him, speaking on, videography, speaking on, photography and all those different avenues that he is engulfed in. So again, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Straight to the Point. I would like to thank my beautiful guest, Ms. Ronette Long, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.